everyone, my name is Georgia. So today's class is for absolutely everyone, but in particular for runners to do pre-run. So before you head on out for a run, it is so important to prepare our bodies. So this class today will be focusing on mobilizing our joints, activating key muscles, as well as encouraging pelvic and core stability and generally getting ourselves nice and warmed up. So all you'll need is a yoga block if you have one, otherwise something like a hard back book, something sturdy. Get creative. We're going to be doing some single leg exercises on that nearer the end of the class. So taking the block to the top of the mat and we'll meet on the mat here. So have a swivel round, come all the way down to your back. So keep the knees nice and bent, shimmy on down and just settle for a moment. So the feet are on the floor, knees bent, back is just lengthened. Notice your breath. So nothing new, we're just breathing naturally, breathing normally, but just encouraging, random little fly there, encouraging a smoothness of the breath. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the nose. And so just your natural breath, just encouraging that smoothness. And just obviously, please continue with your breath as we move through the class. We're going to gently draw the knees in towards the chest, hold on to the top of the knees, and we'll start mobilizing through the hips here. So starting to circle the knees above the hips. The knees fall away, we circle them out, connect them back into the center, change that direction. So reverse. Just noticing how this feels, if this feels nice and fluid, or if maybe there's some little clunks, lumps and bumps in the hips. Connect it all the way back in, gentle squeeze. We're going to take the feet back down to the floor. Sit bone distance apart or hip width apart if that makes more sense. Heels under the knees or slightly further in front, and we want the feet to be nice and even on the mat here. So wriggle your shoulder blades, wriggle your fingers towards your heels so you feel the shoulder blades nice and flat on the mat there. So aware of the ribs, make sure we're not arching the back and flaring the ribs up to the ceiling. Can we gently guide the back of the ribs down towards the mat? The front of the ribs are lengthened towards the hips. Starting to find a slight tone to the belly there. So pulling lower abdominals, lower belly button down towards the mat, towards the spine. And we're going to move into our bridge pose here. So glute bridge, working on hamstrings and glutes rather than a back bend version. Exhaling, we're driving up. So exhale, squeeze the glutes, pressing the hips up towards the ceiling. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale, lower. So exhaling, the spine stays nice and long, ribs stay lengthened towards the hips, and we're lowering. Exhale, driving up, and inhale. Aiming to find nice level hips at the top, so nice and level, and keeping that length through the waist as we rise all the way up there. So squeeze the glutes, feel the back of the legs working, pressing up. Exhale, inhaling to lower. So a little bit of a faster pace than normal. Exhaling, just making sure we are really warming up the muscles there, getting into the glutes especially here. Squeeze up and release. So we're going to go for 5, 4, squeeze, last 3, amazing, last 2, 1 to hold for me. So hold it here, breathing nice and smoothly, squeeze the glutes, ribs towards the hips, maybe a little bit higher, squeeze, 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 and gently release. Amazing. Take the knees in towards the chest. Little rock side to side. And then we're just going to come into some core work here. So we're going to keep the knees above the hips, shins parallel to the floor into a double knee fold. We want the tailbone nice and heavy, shoulder blades are nice and flat on the mat still, and back of the rib cage is also down. So if you find here that we're somewhere like this, start to imprint the lower spine. If we can work with the neutral spine, amazing. But if that's too much, work with a more imprinted spine here, so lengthening the whole spine down to the mat. Otherwise, tailbone is heavy, back of the ribs to the mat. We've got our normal S-curve in the spine. Pull the belly down to the mat, pull the ribs in, and we are holding here. So you should feel there's already quite a lot of work going on just in this position. We're coming into our alternate toe tap. So exhaling, tapping the left toes down. The leg stays in that shape. And we gently let the knee move forwards, tap the toes down, pulling it all the way back up. So if you find the back starts to arch as we take the knee down, just moving the knee as far as you can without that movement. So keeping everything still within the center. Leg only comes as far as you can keep that control. So going with 3 more both sides, squeezing, ribs pulling down the whole time. Last 2 both sides, squeezing. Awesome. Exhaling, tap it down, lift up, and again. Awesome. So we're either going to continue with that one, I'm going to hug the knees in quickly, have a little rest if you need to, or we're going to come into our dead bug. Lovely name. So dead bug. If you want to stick with that version, otherwise watch this next one and then you can choose. So dead bug, we're going to be similar position, but the leg that taps down extends out instead of keeping that bend in the knee and tapping it down. So pull the belly into the back, pull the ribs in. Nice neutral spine if we can, or imprinted spine. So hold everything together within the center, no movement here. As we exhale, left leg extends down, and then we pull it back in. So exhaling, lengthen right leg, pulling it back in. Try to keep the shoulders soft. I could feel myself tensing the shoulders there, and they started to lift. Shoulders are soft. The movement comes from our center here. So exhale, tap it down, lifting up, exhaling, and peeling up. Can we do it with the arms lifted? So shoulders are dropped towards the floor, top of the shoulders are heavy. Exhale, extend, pulling up. Again, either holding here or more coordination here. Exhaling, opposite arm to leg, lengthens away. Keep the ribs pulling down. Pull both limbs back up here. So exhaling, arm and leg lengthen away. Pull it back to the center. Exhale. So everything else stays still. The limbs are moving independently here. Twice more both sides. Oh my goodness, I am working super hard here, so I hope you are too. Last one, both sides. Head and neck stay as relaxed as possible. Pull in through the center. Amazing. Hug it in. Have a little rock side to side. So I'm feeling work there. So yeah, hope you're feeling it, guys. Single leg bridge. Working again on the gluteus maximus there and the hamstrings. Feet are planted to the floor. Arms are by your side. Exhale, peel up all the way to the top of your bridge. So level out through the hips. We're going to keep right leg nice and grounded. Back of the shoulder blades. The only place where your shoulder blades are up. The shoulder blades are still grounded, so we're not arching here. Nice and long through the spine. Root down through that right leg. Peel the left leg up. Come into that knee fold that we were on just a minute ago. Make sure that left hip is as level as we can. Lengthen through the waist. Super hard to talk here, guys. Exhale, inhale, we're going to lower the hips down, and then exhale, drive up. So inhale to lower down, ribs stay lengthened towards the hips, driving up. So exhale, squeeze, lower, driving up, lower, exhale for 5, 4 even, nearly missed up, 4, last 3, squeezing up, last 2, amazing, last 1, hold it. Can we lower that leg down, either rest or can we come straight into the opposite side, right leg lifts. Level out through the hips, nice and level, waist is nice and long. Lower with the inhale, exhale, drive up. Lower, exhale, lowering. Exhale, glute is working super hard, hamstrings are working probably harder than you felt in the double leg bridge. For 5, for 4, last 3, my monster cramp now, last 2, last 1, amazing, lower that leg down. And lower the hips all the way down. Fantastic work, guys. Hug it in. Have a little rock side to side. Massage the back. We're going to come up and over to our all fours. So feel free to roll onto your side. Press your way up. Or have a little rock all the way up and over. All fours position. So I've got a nice slidey mat. So just going to slide my way around. I realised I just did that on film. Almost had a mind blank that I wasn't filming. And I was just... yeah, sorry guys, just sliding around the mat there. So all fours position. We're coming into our cat-cow. So find the strength within this position here. We're resisting the floor. Crown of the head is nice and long. Pick up the belly, pick up the ribs. We're not hanging out down here. We're pushing the floor away lightly. Crown of the head, back of the neck is nice and long. And we're going to start to extend the spine. So shoulder blades roll down the back. Keep the belly nice and strong. Lengthen the chest forwards. Exhale, push the floor away. So working on spinal mobility here, inhaling, freeing up any tension within the upper back, the mid back, maybe in the lower back as well, especially in the upper back. It's nice to free up some tension there because then we'll find we'll breathe more efficiently. It'll be easier to take those full breaths when we are running and in general life. So one more there, inhaling and exhale. Inhale to your neutral spine, meet in the middle. We're going to take left hand across to the opposite side, to your right. Root the hand down and really reach. So push back from that hand. Push your left hip out to the side so you feel your left side nice and lengthened here. So pressing left hip away. Reach through that left arm, take another full breath, and then walk it back to center. Same on the other side, so lengthening through the sides of the body here. Right arm reaches across, push the floor away, push that right hip out, lengthening all the way through the side, and bring it back to center. Amazing. So coming into our knee hovers. From here we are tucking under the toes. Again, find that strong position, push the floor away, shoulders draw down the back, lifting strong in the lower belly, pull the ribs in. Lift your knees. So we're going to pick up the knees, squeeze the belly in, and release. Again, shoulders down the back, push the floor away, lift up, and lower. Picking the knees up, and lowering for 2, lifting up, lowering, and last one, lifting, and lower. Fantastic. Keep that control within the center there. We're going to start circling the hips. So one hip at a time, one leg at a time. We're going to root down through the left leg, float the right leg up just off the floor. Again, keep that same shape we just had in that hovering position. Try not to dip into the left hip. Push the floor away with that right knee. And we're going to start to scoop that right knee in without changing the shape of the spine. Take the leg out without rocking. Bring it all the way back around. Squeeze the glute the whole way around. And again, for 4 more, circle it all the way around and back in. For 3. For 2. So on 1 we're not finished. We're going the opposite way. Last one this way. Awesome. Connect it back into the center. Push it back. Squeeze that glute the whole way around. Try not to look at what you're doing. I know the tendency is to do that quite a lot. Keep the neck nice and long. Stability through the whole spine here. Last 2. Whew. Last 1. Bring it back down. Swap to the other side. Push the floor away with that right leg, so don't dip into the hip. Lift up out of the hip. Shoulders are back. Left knee draws in. Squeeze. Keep the spine nice and long, nice and stable. All the way out and around for 4 more. Squeeze that glute the whole way around here. We're feeling that lifting sensation in the lower belly. Last 2. And last 1. My face has gone so warm here, guys. So press it backwards. Same again, 5 in this direction. 4 more. Nice and slowly for 3. 4. Last 2. And last 1. Bring it all the way back in. Knees come down. First downward facing dog here. So hands slightly further forward of the shoulders. Tuck under your toes. Lift the knees like we've been doing. And then push away from the hands. Super long through the spine. Hips are lengthened up and back. Knees can stay bent. So we'll keep the knees bent here. We don't need to stretch the hamstrings too much before our run. Keeping that elasticity there within the hamstrings. Unless obviously they are super tight, go for it. Have a pedal out. Lengthening through the body. We're going to roll forwards to a plank. So pull the ribs in, pull the belly in. And then start to wave yourself forwards with your inhale to your plank. Stable through our trunk, through the center, through the spine, level in the hips. Exhale, push it back. So twice more like that. Inhale, wave, roll and wave. Wanted to come out at the same time. You know what I mean? Exhale, push it back. And then roll or wave forwards. Pressing all the way. Last one. Exhale, push it back. Amazing. So find that nice long spine. Push away from the top of the mat. Start to walk your feet forward. So slowly stepping to the top of the mat. We're going to find a little forward fold. So feet come sit bone distance apart. Bend the knees. Push your hips back and away. Lengthen through the spine here. 1 more full breath. And then with an exhale, sit the bum all the way back into an imaginary chair here. Start to lift the gaze, lift the arms forwards. Sit down into your chair. So hips are pushing back rather than knees coming forwards. Shift the hips back, lengthen through the spine and through the back of the neck. Pull in through the front of the body, hold. Next, inhale, rise. Push down through the feet. Exhale, sweep the hands down. Awesome. Are we warmer, guys? I am warm. Might just be because I'm talking a lot, but otherwise, hopefully you should be nice and warm. So standing, I won't come to the top of the mat, but you can come to the top of the mat just because I should be in shot because I think the plant's in shot. So standing with our feet sit bone distance apart, pull all the way in through the front of the body, neutral spine, crown of the head is nice and tall. We're lifting up to our toes, so warming up the ankles and the calves here. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. So you may hear your ankles crack, potentially mine. Inhaling and exhaling, keeping that support through the front of the body. Ribs are threaded together. Last 2. In and 1. So we're going to add some extra movements in with the arms. So rise up to the toes, lift the arms. Exhale, release it down. Last 4, inhale. And exhale, float all the way up. And release, keep the gaze steady. I nearly threw myself forwards there. So it's just so passionate in this movement. So coming down back to the heels, and we're going to come into our chair pose again here, warming up the legs, and again warming up the glutes. So exhaling, push your hips back, sweep the arms forwards, hips are pushing back, belly, ribs in, inhale, drive up. Pressing back and lifting up. So sit the bum back and lift, squeeze the glutes at the top, sit it back and lift. So we're going to go for 3, for 2, and for 1 to hold. Hold it here for me, lift up 1 inch and then lower 1 inch, just 1 inch and lower 1 inch. For 3, amazing, last 2. If the arms get tired, bring the palms together, last 1, and rise to standing. Ooh, release, grabbing hold of your block. So if you need a drink, please grab a drink, otherwise grabbing hold of your little block or your book or anything else you've been creative with. I'm going to stand facing you actually. So you take your right foot onto the block. Make sure your heel is on the block, doesn't matter too much if the toes are off the edge, but we want our heel nice and rooted. I'm getting a bit OCD apparently. I want that nice and straight. So we're going to rise up onto the block, come up onto your left tiptoes, hands are on the hips here. So standing up nice and tall, pull in through the center, tall through the crown of the head, ribs up in. Flex that left foot, can we stay level through the hips here? So we're pushing out from that right foot, lifting up from the hip, not hanging out in the hip. Pull it all up, squeeze that right glute, soften the right knee, hover down, and then press up, squeeze that glute. Lower and lift. So just making sure we're not dipping into the pelvis or the hips here. We are using those muscles to support us, stabilize us, lift us up. Last 1. Awesome. Adding in an extra movement. Press up that left leg, flex the foot, toes face forwards, getting into the glute medius here. So our little stabilizing muscle for the hips within our glutes there. Bring it back in and then tap it down. Push the floor away, working into the side, bring it back and lower down. Awesome. For 3, lift, lower and down. For 2, pull in through the center, toes face forward, so we're still keeping that parallel position. Awesome. Next one to hold up. We're just going to lift and lower. So leg lifts out, abduct that leg from the side, bring it back in, squeeze that side, pull into the center. I'm out of breath talking, guys. Last 2, lift and lower, lift and hold at a pulse. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Oh my goodness. Awesome. So we're going to take the block out of the way. If you want to add a little extra challenge, feel free to stay standing on the block. It is good fun, a little bit of extra balance work. Still on our right leg. My throat's really dry now, so still on your right leg. We're going to float the left leg up in front. Find that support through the center, tall through the spine, lift up from that right hip like we had that same sensation on the block. So lifting up, squeeze the right glute, left leg floats in front. So we're going to be almost mimicking the running movement here. Soften your right knee, keep that bend in the left knee, and we're going to hinge forwards from the hips, keep that length in the spine, and slowly lean, keep the spine long, push your left hip back. So we're squeezing that top of the glute, but we're not rounding through the back here. Keep the length, just pushing as far back as we can without arching through the back here, and then bring it all the way back up. So we're lifting it back to the start, up in front of the body. Exhale, hinge forward, squeeze that right glute, knee stays soft, hinge forward from the hips, press it back. Inhale, lifting up. Are we feeling it in the calf and ankle there as well? Last one. I say last one, I'm going to be mean, adding in a little extra. So take the leg down, have a quick shake out because I'm going to need it too. Shake out the legs, we're on that same leg. Right foot is down, left leg lifts back up in front. So when we're running, we've got our arms moving at the same time, and there's almost a little twisting motion there. So we're mimicking that movement again. Palms come together, lift up in front, pull the body in, lengthen up. So rotate, but we're not going to round through the back here. Elbow is guiding towards the knee. Squeeze that right glute, soften the right knee, come all the way forwards, hinge from the hips, and we're almost tapping our left elbow to the right knee. Amazing. Push that left leg behind, come all the way up. Oh my goodness, this side struggles for me, so we're coming all the way up and we're coming all the way back again. Calf and ankle, Come all the way forward. Stay active through the center. Last one. Amazing. Stay with me if I can do it. Pressing. Come all the way back up. Amazing. Oh. And rotate, release. Ow. Calves are on fire, ankles on fire, so I'll give them a shake out. Awesome. How did you find that? Hopefully nice and hard, because otherwise I just look really weird struggling on the screen there. So hopefully you are feeling that heat with me. Feeling nice and warm here. We're doing the same on the opposite side. So left foot comes onto the block now. Make sure your heel is rooted. Toes can be off the edge, but heel is nice and rooted. Find those level hips. Pull up and into the center. Ribs into an arching, ribs in. Nice and tall. Flex your right foot. Push away from the block so we are lifted and level in the hips. Soften the left knee. Tap the right leg down. Push and lift up. And release. Push and lift. Squeeze through the center. And release for 3, for 2, squeezing, lifting up out of the hips, and last 1. Awesome. Release it down. Same thing with that side left. Lift up. Flex your right foot. Guide that leg out to the side. Stay level in that left hip. Bring it back. Soften the left knee lower. Push the floor away. Lift up out of that left hip. Right leg lifts out. Bring it back in and release. Getting into the side of the hips and the glutes there. Fantastic. Last 2 like that for me. Lifting. Squeeze the left glute. Squeeze the right. Bring it down. Last one. Squeeze strong through the center. Back in and out. Next one to hold it up. Just lifting and lowering. Pull in. Lift that leg. Release. Lifting. My left ankle's starting to roll. Just pay attention again to what your ankles want to do here. Do they roll in? Do they roll out? Last one to hold. Add that pulse. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Amazing. Coming into a horrible mimicking movement there. So moving your block out the way, or if you did stay on the block for the last one, feel free to stay on it now. I'm not looking forward to this. So hopefully this is my better side. So we're going to be keeping our right leg rooted. Was it right leg? No, left leg rooted. My bad. So left leg is rooted, float the right leg up in front. So that same action in the left leg as we had when we were standing on the block. Push and resist against the floor here. Left glute is squeeze, pull the right leg up into the chest, strong through the center, soften your left knee, fold from the hips. So spine stays long as we hinge. Kind of like a deadlift movement. If you are someone who likes to go to the gym, we are pushing the right leg back behind, squeeze that right glute, bring it back in front of the body, lift it nice and tall. Squeeze and lift, and send it back. Brilliant. So it's that same hinging movement as the deadlift there. We are lifting up. I've already forgotten how many we're doing, so we're going to do one more. Awesome. So pushing it back and bringing it all the way back up, adding in our twist. This side is my better side. I can go straight into it. Rest if you need to. Rotate. Keep the torso nice and tall here. Just a little twist so you can keep the spine long. If you find the spine starts to round, minimize that movement. So rotate strong through the center, soften that left knee. Oh, got the shakes. Press it back, elbow to knee. Squeeze that left glute, drive the hips forwards in a slower motion than driving. Sounds like it would be all the way back. Brilliant. Hinge from the hips, spine stays long, pull into the front and lift all the way up. Oh my goodness, last one here, guys. And then we are done, almost. Lifting, just a little stretch after this. Pull it all the way up, finish in that little rotation, come back to center, release, shake it out. Amazing, guys. I'm in pain, a good kind of pain. The burn, shake it out, have a little rise up onto the toes if we need to, and then reset just at the top of the mat here. So another little side stretch to open up the sides of the ribcage a little bit more so we find more space to breathe nice and deeply. So standing with the feet sit bone distance, pull into the center. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Reach, reach, reach. Nice and strong, ribs it in. Exhale to your right, so leaning all the way over. Inhale, pull up. Exhaling over to your left. Inhale to center, hands come behind the back. Interlace your fingers or take hold of opposite elbows or forearms. We want to open through the chest here. Soften the knees if that helps. Lifting, pulling into the belly still, shoulder blades are squeezing together, and release the hands, give the shoulders a roll up to the ears, down the back, Lift the elbows, circle them forwards and then squeeze them down the back. Last two like that, draw it forwards and then squeeze it down. Last one, all the way forwards and down. Release the hands by your side. So hopefully, guys, you are all nice and warm, all set, maybe potentially even a little popped out from doing that work. But yeah, hopefully feeling good for your run now. So go and enjoy your run or enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. Any questions or anything you want to know, just drop a message below. Still out of breath. I would love to hear from you. So have an awesome day, guys. See you soon. Bye.